City's Cryptid.
So I just felt in the mood to record because my friends on the Discords for your city cryptid was talking about the lunar eclipse, I believe it was called, and it just couldn't help bring me flashbacks to when Zelly was a little Ewu, little sheep rolling around the city and whatnot, attending a high school. We're gonna just call it High Arts, and if you know, you know. If you don't, then oh well. If my teachers happen to be listening to this, hi, hello, I hope everything's well. I might come by and visit, who knows. So, in High Arts, Zelly was in a photography class, as she was a visual artist. That was her conservatory, as they would like to call it. And for the photography class, they talked about taking photos and also about how would you take photos in the nighttime. And that perked up Zelly's interest because Zelly couldn't help but think about the pink moon, or also known as the red moon, I believe, coming up soon. And she just couldn't help but think, I want to take a picture of that. Even though it might be impossible, nothing stops this city cryptid. So after learning that you have to hold the aperture long enough, and ideally you want a tripod, but Zelly, being Zelly, did not have such thing. Just tried her best and made a plan. The plan was, I believe, Zelly would dress up in the most warmest of gear, because, of course, in the city, it is freezing cold when this is happening, because it was around February. How appropriate that a red moon happens around February, the month of love, or whatever cliche. So Zelly dressed up warm and ended up just stepping out and braving through the chilly airs. But it was kind of one of those moments that Zelly, or otherwise me, your city cryptid, couldn't help but realize this is the first time in one of the rarest times that you feel peace and quiet and just literally ambience of the city, and not as in the violence and whatnot. I'll admit, where I lived was a little sketch. It can be a little sketch, but it wasn't like crazy as in there were shootouts and every single day and whatnot. There would be, but not in where I was living. Maybe like 5 blocks away or something. I don't know. Anywho, so it was one of those rare moments where you just hear the night actually be the night and not be something more ruthless, I guess. And it's definitely was a nice and peaceful moment. It was one of those rare moments, especially for the household I lived in. No offense to any of my family that might be listening to this. It's just the truth and how I felt at the time. So I recall that being a very peaceful moment, and even when I was coming back inside, it felt further peaceful because I was just met with, instead of like parents yelling at me for being up so late or being awake at a very ridiculous o'clock hour, I was just met with my best friend, which was Senor Chucky, or also known as Chevy's. He was just chill and I was chill, and I just remember those rare moments of just peace and quiet and just enjoying actual things that I was interested in, and still am in a way. The galaxy, the moons and whatnot. And one of the, funny enough, recent days that just passed by was Friday the 13th, and all this talk about moons and whatnot just brings further flashbacks to when I was younger, again, teen Zelly. I remember I had this tradition because I just ended up making it up because why not? And I just felt like Friday the 13th is always considered as bad luck and whatnot. I couldn't help but why not, out of humor, I guess, and as a way to entertain myself, as a distraction, because it's so rare to see a Friday the 13th, to make it a little tradition. If it was Friday the 13th and it happened to be a full moon that day, I would step outside because, of course, I had a backyard. It was cement though. It wasn't like grass or anything, with a giant not house, but like garage, I guess. That's what it would be called, garage. Sorry. Late night. What can I say? Anyway, so I recall that we had a garage, two giant trees, the only trees that we would have seeing in the city. Well, there was a couple, mostly cement, very few grass and trees, as well as we had the patio table and an umbrella, as well chairs. And I recall just ended up warming up and making marshmallows inside, and then using graham crackers and chocolate and basically creating s'mores. I recall doing that and also making hot chocolate for myself, and I would just step outside outside and just chill outside and just enjoy the moment of peace and quiet, as well as the fact that it's Friday the 13th and it's a full moon, and I am just enjoying this moment while enjoying a very warm and inviting treat, I guess you could say. In a way, it kind of felt like one of those, once again, rare moments of peace, quiet, and just literally enjoying every second of what's happening actually for once, and just feeling warmth and comfort. The fact, especially for something that I always considered one of my biggest interests, the idea of actually celebrating something that's considered bad in a sense, mostly because of tall tales or stereotypes, I guess you could say. I always have been somebody that loves bringing contrasting things together and somehow making it work, like fantasy and reality, goth and pastel, or I guess another version of that would be making a demon an actual decent person. It just always perked my interest because for me, I always just like creating strange combinations like that in a way. I just apologize if I get too off topic, but all this talk of lunar eclipse and whatnot and the moon just couldn't help but bring back melancholy, I guess you could call it. Memories of when I would just for once just enjoy the moment and just enjoy the fact that I actually get to experience something so nice, warm, inviting, and friendly. But yeah, so I just figured to share that, and I'll probably maybe post more stories similar to that, maybe not. We'll see. I'll admit it's kind of sad though in a way, because in the end, that home I believe ended up being sold off, and sadly we lost that family home recently, not too long ago I believe, which again, it's sad, but it is what it is, you know? Sometimes we just gotta embrace and enjoy the memories we had instead of viewing them as something of a loss and a grief, I guess you could say, for lack of a better term. Anyway, I'm sorry if this is like a bittersweet way to end this. I just figured to post this and to just talk about soft and gentle moments like this. Anyway, I'll see you ghouls, gals, bats, and booze next time from Tales of the City's Crypt. Bye.